on this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen from San Antonio, Texas.
The Cattle Industry Convention in sizzling hot San Antonio is ready to roll. We'll bring you some of the sights and sounds as this amazing gathering of cattlemen and women gets underway.
And now, your host, Kevin Oxner from San Antonio, Texas.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. As you can see, we're here in San Antonio, Texas, as we get ready to kick off the 2015 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. You might be surprised to learn that the very first Cattle Industry Convention was held in my neck of the woods in Denver, Colorado, way back in 1898. Since then, this event has grown big time, and it's evolved into one of the premier annual conventions in the entire U.S. agricultural industry. This time around in San Antonio, we're expecting more than 7,000 people to gather for the best in cattle industry information, innovation, education, and a whole lot of fun. This year's NCBA Trade Show is already a record breaker. More than 335 exhibitors are getting set up and ready to go. The trade show floor will stretch across 7 acres of the San Antonio Convention Center. And just outside the convention hall, our friends from New Holland have an outstanding outdoor display. Mark Lowry from New Holland Agriculture joins us now. Mark, you've got a wonderful display, tractors, balers, hay rakes. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, we have 16 units on site this year to give cattlemen a wide array of options to look at in terms of New Holland machinery. And notably, we have some new units. We're currently in a launch period for our new 4-foot wide roll belt 450 and 460 models, which is 4x5 and 4x6 bale size. So cattlemen have an opportunity to look at that hay package if that is an option for them or integrates in their operation. Additionally, we have a new DuraV wheel rake on display, as well as large square balers and a wide range of tractors for all types of operations.
You mentioned some of the new things New Holland Agriculture is presenting. What it will be new in 2015?
Well, really, in 2015, most of our product launches focus on 2 key messages, and that's capacity, allowing operators to get their jobs done a lot faster, and second of all, a lot smarter. A lot of innovative features to help them manage their operations or crop a lot closer as they're worrying about their inputs to cattle and where their hay is going in the operation.
You know, if the last couple of years are any indication, farmers love this equipment. They crawl all over it, jump in the cab. What's been the reaction you've received from cattlemen in the past?
Well, I think probably the most notable reaction is when folks have an opportunity to sit in the cab of these new tractors and really take advantage of the creature comforts. So a lot of cattlemen are sitting a lot of time in the tractor seat, doing chores, doing loader work. We focused a lot of time and effort into that cab, understanding that there's a lot of labor time spent there, and it really winds up being your field office where you're spending a lot of the time, and it needs to be as comfortable as possible.
You've got to sit down in one of these cabs to really appreciate what you're talking about, no doubt.
That's right. They can take advantage of that nice air ride seat, some pretty cool radio and speaker setups in there, Bluetooth option to stay connected on the phone hands-free, so a lot of things just for convenience as folks are operating around their farm or ranch.
And what's the value you see at New Holland for having that interaction directly with cattlemen here at convention?
Well, this is an incredible place for us to focus on the beef industry, number one, to get a chance to talk to a lot of cattlemen who have very specific operations and understand what their needs are. This is one of the few places we get to go to and focus on a customer segment as strongly as what we do here at the NCBA convention. So we're excited. Our dairy and livestock marketing staff will be here in full force to talk with customers and see what they're facing and what we can offer as a solution to help them.
You're a major sponsor of NCBA, and we greatly appreciate it. We better tell folks the kind of incentives are involved if they have an interest in one of these pieces of equipment.
Well, sure thing. NCBA members should follow up with their local dealer and learn about the incentives that are offered. But anyone who's been an NCBA member for at least 60 days is eligible for savings from $250 to $1,000 on New Holland equipment. So again, visit with your local dealer and learn about all the options available to them.
Thank you so much, Mark. Don't forget, You do indeed still have time to make it here to San Antonio and be a part of the amazing, educational, and fun Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. The convention officially gets underway on Wednesday this week and continues through Friday evening. That's February 4th through the 7th. You can register on site right here at the San Antonio Convention Center, and one-day registrations are available if you just want to drive in for a day. You can find out all you need to know at the website beefusa.org. The registration area is where folks begin their visit to the Cattle Industry Convention each year. Registrations are open through Friday this week, starting at 6 a.m. every morning. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Russell Nemitz is with us for an update. Russell, what's happening where you are?
Thank you, Kevin, and I am excited to be back at the Cattle Industry's annual convention and NCBA trade show here in sizzling hot San Antonio. And of course, over the course of this week, we're going to cover a lot of important issues in the meetings for the cattle industry, and we're going to see the latest and greatest in farm and ranch technology right here at the NCBA trade show. But we're going to check in with somebody who knows how the registration is going for this year's convention, Thad Larson from the NCBA. And Thad, how is registration looking so far?
Registration is looking phenomenal, Russell. We've got record pacing for our crowd in San Antonio, and it looks to be one of our largest conventions ever.
You know, talk about the fact that, a lot of folks did pre-register, obviously, but for those who may still want to come, we can get registered right here on site.
Yeah, absolutely. People can register here on site, right here in this area in the convention center in San Antonio. They can also register at their hotel room online. You can do it on your phone. You can do it just about anywhere. Anywhere you can get an internet connection, you can go online and register for the show and come on down whenever you're ready.
Talk about why folks should join us here in San Antonio this week, because there truly is a lot going on and a lot to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that it's hard to get it all compressed into something I could say, but there's going to be more fun, more education, more exhibits than anybody could really possibly want, and if you are interested in the cattle business at all, this is the place to be this week.
All right, Kevin, we're going to switch gears here just for a moment, but there's something different about Thad this year. I haven't seen him for a little bit, but there's something different. It's the mustache.
It is, yeah.
Talk about why you and others have these big mustaches this year here in San Antonio.
So this year for our finale event on Friday night, we are having a celebration of mustaches. It's our Mustache Bash after party, and everybody has a chance to add a mustache, whether they've been working on it for 2 months like I have been, or if they just want to stick one on that evening. But it's a chance just to have some fun and everybody get a chance to enjoy one another's company and look silly at the same time.
Well, thanks for being such a good sport. And I think I might be one of those having to stick one on, if you will, for this weekend's fun event. Anyways, a lot going on this week. It's the Cattle Industry's annual convention and NCBA trade show here in San Antonio. Sizzling hot San Antonio. With that, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Russell, thanks for that update. We'll check back in with you just a little bit later. And joining us now to provide more insight on the 2015 Cattle Industry Convention and the work of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is Forrest Roberts, CEO of NCBA. Forrest, what a year it's been for the beef cattle industry, and the stage is set for a phenomenal convention right here in San Antonio. What's the mood of the people that will be joining us here in San Antonio?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Kevin. The stage is absolutely set for a record turnout here in San Antonio, but also not just a record turnout, but people that are here to engage in a way that I haven't seen in several years. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the smiles that are on people's faces, the optimism they have about the future of our industry, and no doubt the highest cattle prices ever in history probably have a little bit of something to do about that. But also there's moisture that has come back into certain areas of the country that was very much needed. But all in all, Kevin, I think we are absolutely set for a record-breaking convention, and people coming into San Antonio ready to get down to business, really to address the industry needs today and really plan for the future tomorrow.
You mentioned getting down to business. Your staff works all year preparing for this meeting. What are going to be some of the business issues discussed at this year's convention?
Well, the entire staff works every day, not just in the past 2 or 3 weeks, but as you said, for years coming into a convention like this. And we're trying to create that once-in-a-lifetime experience for every convention attendee every day while they're here. And while that may sound like an easy thing to do, it certainly requires a whole lot of work and a whole lot of planning. So as we think about the some 7,000+ people that are going to be here this week, what we see is they're going to have an opportunity, one, to engage in the educational programs, to really hopefully take some learnings from those discussions back to their operations to make them either more successful or perhaps prepare them for the next generation that's coming behind them. Secondly, there'll be an opportunity in that process to just engage with other cattle producers across the country. It's amazing to see, Kevin, the relationships that are formed here at these conventions, and a lot of times turn into business relationships that last for decades, if not for lifetimes. But then last but not least, it's an opportunity for people to have a little entertainment as well and have a little fun while they're here and celebrate a phenomenal year in 2014 with fellow cattlemen and women from across the country. So it's all about education, engagement, and entertainment. That's what they'll see here in San Antonio this week.
For folks that may not have been able to come to this year's convention, how can they engage in some of the important conversations that happen throughout the year for the cattle industry?
Well, you know, when we look at the major discussion points, they are very much local in nature and all the way up to the national level. So when we think about first that area of engagement, we want them to be able to engage if they can't be here this week, certainly at the county level and at the state level and then at the national level. And when you start to really zero into these major topics that are being discussed this week, like trade, like dietary guidelines, like waters of the United States, and also how we look at creating that overall demand with the beef eating experience that we produce for those older millennials, those are major topics of discussions that don't just happen here once a year at a national convention. They really start at the grassroots level, at the county and the state level, and percolate here and come to fruition in San Antonio.
Forrest, you've been coming to these conventions for a number of years. I'd just be interested to know, what's your favorite part of the coming week?
You know, it's interesting, Kevin, when you look at all the major sessions, opening general sessions, the major entertainment events and the educational events, what I really enjoy is seeing the grassroots process evolve. So cattlemen and women come from all over the country. They put their heart and soul into their perspectives about how do we best make the right decisions that'll lead this industry into the future. And to see that grassroots policy-making process come to life, some people sometimes refer to it as a little bit of a sausage-making process, but it certainly is one that yields outcomes. And those outcomes, that's what we as staff take back to and implement on their behalf to really chart the course for the future of this industry. So that's one of the really special highlights and what this convention is all about.
Well, it should be one for the record books. Thank you to you and your entire team.
You bet. Thanks, Kevin.
No doubt there's lots of work to be done and some valuable cattle industry connections to be made right here in sizzling hot San Antonio. Watch for convention updates and get additional information about the convention here in sizzling hot San Antonio at the website beefusa.org. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll have more from San Antonio, home of the Alamo. We'll take you to an outstanding Western art museum that's located right here on the Riverwalk, and we'll see how the setup of the biggest cattle industry trade show is coming along. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, Glory, Ram.
If you're looking to raise the profit potential for your herd, then look to the proven Angus genetics offered by Ellingson Angus in St. Anthony, North Dakota. Their annual sale is the first Saturday in February, and they strive to produce premium quality Angus bulls and females.
I think what they'll find is a wide selection of cattle that can fit their need, and will find the right genetics, the right match for their individual herds.
Our number one goal is in utilizing any of these sire lines that we use is ensuring that they're the type of genetics that produce profitability for our commercial bull customer.
From calving ease to quality carcass traits and more, Ellingson Angus is where you'll find the Angus bulls that will make you money.
It's gotten to the point that the calves out of our bulls are demanding a premium.
Outstanding genetics and customer service make this the one sale you don't want to miss. Find out more at ellingsonangus.com or on sale day, view and bid at dvauction.com.
Welcome back. San Antonio is a great place to hold the 2015 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show. And Texas is a state with a long and storied history in the beef cattle business. Texas is also the home state of the man who has served this past year as the president of NCBA. Let's take a look back at our profile of Bob McCann at his home place in South Texas as Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter brings us the story.
It's just before dawn in South Texas, and Bob McCann is saddling his horse in the early morning fog and preparing to move some cattle with his crew. Bob oversees the cattle and the hunting and wildlife operations for his family's company, McFadden Enterprises.
My great-great-grandfather founded this ranch in 1877. He put the property together. And so I'm fifth generation of our family to manage the ranch. It's a very unique operation here in that we operate on about 3 different counties. We have 2 ranches here in Victoria County that are what you would call the coastal plains, and we have another ranch south of here that's a lease ranch that our family has leased since 1932. We're pretty far south down here as far as the United States goes, so we've been able to make it work for a long time.
McFadden Enterprises includes combined acreage that can support anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 head depending on rainfall and forage availability. The ranches are stocked with commercial crossbred cattle.
My grandfather started our particular breed of the Brayford cattle, which is a 3/4 Hereford, 1/4 Brahman, crossing Hereford bulls on Brahman cows. So the 3/4, 1/4 breed was what we found to be the, kind of the best cross for our part of the country here. And as you can see, our cows really look a lot like a Hereford animal and have a lot of the Boss Taurus qualities about them.
Bob studied range science, so properly managing brush and all of his ranch's resources has always been a priority, and one of the main reasons McFadden Enterprises has been able to stay in business for so long.
We've seen our cattle operation really grow and improve because of the improvements that we've invested in for the ranch. I want this place to be in as good a condition as I can leave it for the next generation, for my children, for my cousin's children, our family's operation. And if it's in good condition, if it's a productive environment, it's going to be a profitable environment.
Beef industry advocacy is not new to the McCann family. They've been leaders in the Texas cattle industry for several generations, and Bob is a past president of the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. But the role of president of NCBA offers a different challenge as Bob gets a chance to represent cattlemen at the national level.
My grandfather served as president of the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers, as did his uncle, my great uncle, and my father was a director in that organization, and I served as president of that organization about 10 years ago. And kind of during that time is when I got involved with National Cattlemen's. It's been really humbling to be able to kind of follow up in my family's footsteps in that regard. And I kind of grew up in that environment, going to a lot of the cattlemen's meetings, and so it was kind of a natural progression for me. And so I've really enjoyed a lot of the advocacy work and working with the different committees and just kind of having dialogue with different cattlemen around the country is really been enjoyable for me. It's a great honor for me, and it's a great honor for my family, and to be involved with an organization like NCBA that has just wonderful people involved.
Bob and his wife Julie have 2 children, Robert and Mary, and that family support will be critical. As NCBA president, Bob expects to spend as many as 300 days on the road visiting with his fellow cattlemen and women.
It's a big treat for me to go out to these state affiliates and be able to visit with cattlemen in different parts of the country, kind of see how they run their operations, and I feel it's given me a whole lot better outlook on what the needs are of our cattle industry going forward. I'm really thankful that I have some family here that will help out. Although my son is still in college, he's down a lot. My father is still around. He's 83 years old, but he still keeps a pretty good eagle eye on what's going on at the operation. And I've got some good help working for me. With the communication technology we have today and cell phones and computers and things, I think it's certainly something we can strive to get done.
Bob's knowledge of the cattle industry both in the U.S. and internationally will be a huge advantage as cattle producers look to open up more foreign markets for U.S. beef.
We're enjoying some really good markets right now, and we hope to see that continue. But a lot of what's driving some of the good market we're having right now is our international market. And I think we've got great opportunities ahead of us with opening some new markets. We've got some really good markets open right now that are growing, and there's a lot of consumers of our product that live outside of this country. So we need to continue to focus on that. I think that's a great opportunity for us.
Bob is also passionate about helping young producers get started in the industry, and he knows the value of getting them involved in organizations like NCBA at an early age.
Those people have a lot of energy. They got a lot of passion for this industry. They've got some great ideas, and we need to make sure that we give them the opportunity to be able to be part of everything we do, I think, at NCBA. And they are the generation that are going to be able to relate to a lot of our consumers, possibly better than some of us older guys can. Plus, we need to have those people coming back into the industry, into our business. And whether it's our own children or someone else's children, it's important that we get young people coming back into the cattle industry.
Bob feels good about NCBA's place in the beef industry. He's a believer in the value of cattlemen joining together and knows that NCBA can play an important role in unifying the industry.
It's a great opportunity to be able to have dialogue with fellow cattlemen and be able to formulate policies that we as cattlemen can come together and agree upon as the best pathway forward for our industry. I've always felt that cattle industry is always going to have a tremendous amount of challenges, has forever and ever, but there's always going to be a lot of opportunities there. And the opportunities will be different through the years, but I see this in the next few years as us having a lot of opportunity. And if we can overcome our challenges, I think we've got a great future ahead of us.
And joining us now to talk about his year as president of NCBA is Bob McCann. Bob, you're getting ready to turn the gavel over to Philip Ellis. Tell us what the year's been like for you.
Well, it's been a wonderful year, Kevin, just full of lots of real positive energy for the cattle industry. Great markets this year, and actually pretty good weather around for everybody, so it's all been pretty positive.
And you're taking credit for all that, right?
You bet. Yeah, I mean, there's certain direct correlation to the national president, I think, in the cattle market.
I would suspect, absolutely. Yeah. What does it mean to be concluding your term right here in your home state of Texas?
Well, it's wonderful. It's really good to be here in San Antonio. It's a historical town, historical part of the cattle industry and of our nation here in San Antonio, Texas. And the Texas folks here were very instrumental in getting me to kind of have that insight and everything to go ahead and interview for these positions and take the role on the national level. So.
And we've appreciated it. I know you have a busy agenda this week, but what are you personally looking most forward to?
Well, I really look forward to seeing all the policy folks and the checkoff folks come together in their committees and implement and engage a lot of the different programs that the cattle industry has going. And, you know, starting out as president, it was kind of my platform to try to capitalize on challenges and opportunities that we have in the industry. And I think that the folks have done a great job. Staff at NCBA has done a great job, and everybody working together as a team. That's always the best thing, the neatest thing for me to watch, is see how everybody comes together to better the industry.
You've had a real unique experience to see the industry front and back over the last couple of years and gain a lot of insights throughout the beef cattle industry. I'd be interested to know what do you see in terms of the future of the beef cattle industry here in the United States?
Well, I think the future is pretty bright, Kevin. You know, we have done a lot of things to try to put ourselves in a good situation, have a good business environment, and I think that cattlemen across this country have engaged in that process and paid a lot of attention to that, and realizing that you know the reason we do all these things, the reason we come to these meetings, is we want it to be a better place for the future generations, future cattle producers. And you know, I think folks have done that, and you know, it's really exciting to see some of the things going on in the industry. People have good profitability in all sectors of the industry, and lots of these producers are getting equity back in their programs and actually making some plans for the future that are pretty exciting. So
that is encouraging, and I know I echo the thoughts of so many others in our industry when I thank you for the service that you've given to our organization. What other words of wisdom might you have for folks at home?
Well, I would just like to tell all of our folks, cattle producers and membership, thank you for the support they've given me and they've given this association over the past year. You know, and they've been so supportive of things that I wanted to do and that our association did, and they've been active. They've gotten engaged. Traveling across the country this year, Kevin, was just wonderful. Seeing that support within our state affiliates and the state beef councils, and how supportive people are of the national efforts that we do, and our state national partnerships are alive and well. And doing great, and that's where it counts. That's what makes it all happen, I think.
We appreciate your leadership and your service to our industry.
Thank you.
The 2015 convention here in San Antonio is underway, but it's not too late for you to go and enjoy all the convention has to offer. Walk-in registrations are accepted all the way through Friday, February 7th. And you can come and enjoy a one-day registration checking out the trade show. It might be the best investment you'll make in your cattle business this year. Get all the details you need at the website beefusa.org. Still ahead, we'll see how the record-breaking NCBA trade show is coming together. And we'll take a trip inside one of the nation's outstanding Western art museums located right here on the San Antonio Riverwalk. Stay with us. We'll have more right after this.
Overcoming adversity is part of the job, and loyalty isn't a word you just use, especially when everything is on the line. You've had good times and stood strong in leaner years. We've always been right there with you. Introducing the John Deere Livestock Loyalty Program. Special savings is our way of saying thanks for investing in John Deere.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher can, because he has to make his living off of it. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction, and it's really been profitable for us. It just makes that much of a difference.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition. They don't go up and down drastically in weight. Every head on this ranch is fed the Purina Superlix 30. If we keep them on that feed, they stay in optimum condition year-round.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better all throughout the whole year. The products they're producing are very much in line with what the rancher needs to be using to be profitable in the future. That's the best thing ever happened to us.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA, they look at the facts, they look at the history, and they look what's good for the industry.
It's important to be NCBA members just because of what NCBA does. They keep us informed about a lot of things that are going on nationwide,
The reason we're an NCBA member is we think that it's the best voice that the cattle people have.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
Welcome back to San Antonio. The art, tradition, and culture of the American West is like none other. And there's a new museum in San Antonio that would be a great stop for anyone in town for the Cattle Industry Convention. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Sharon Alseth takes us inside the Briscoe Western Art Museum.
Well, I think what we do here that's really special is to show that the American West is still alive and thriving. It's not just about history. While we have a lot of artifacts, even things that date back to the Alamo, Spanish colonial works, we also have a lot of contemporary paintings.
The building that opened as San Antonio's first central library back in 1930 is now home to the Briscoe Western Art Museum. The Art Deco neoclassical building houses art and artifacts not only representing the history of Texas, but that of cattle country and the great American West.
You know, San Antonio is one of the most iconic cities of the American West. Of course, everyone knows about the Battle of the Alamo, and the Alamo is just a couple blocks away from here. So there's really no better place for this museum. And even being right on the Riverwalk, on the San Antonio River, we're right next to one of the oldest known crossings. So literally thousands of cattle crossed right here by the museum. So there's a lot of history in this location.
The museum houses both original and replica pieces dating back to the mid-1800s. Popular exhibits throughout the 9 galleries include a recreation of the Battle of the Alamo and an authentic reproduction of a Wells Fargo stagecoach, as well as oil paintings, clothing, and more from the American West.
Yes, so right behind me is an authentic chug wagon by John Deere. It was owned by someone here in town who used to be or still is a champion chuck wagon cook. And in this gallery, it's the Governor Dolph Briscoe Jr. Gallery. The theme here is work. And so we've got the chuck wagon. You may hear the sounds behind me of a windmill that came from a ranch in New Mexico. And then other paintings that evoke work. And then also firearms, saddles, that type of thing.
There's also a beautiful sculpture garden that's perfect for enjoying the San Antonio weather, and an entire exhibit that focuses on saddles and spurs.
Just in this adjacent gallery is our San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo Saddles and Spurs Gallery, and we have 2 large cases, one that exhibits over 100 spurs, and then right across from it, one that exhibits different saddles, and including Pancho Villa's last known saddle that's in that gallery. There's so many great pieces. In the gallery next to us is the Enrique and Lydia Guerra and Family Gallery. He's a collector of the finest Spanish colonial Mexican pieces, and there's a saddle in that gallery from the 17th century that is a Spanish saddle. It's actually embroidered silk. I mean, you'll never see anything like it here in the New World, as they say, so you'd have to go to Spain to see something like that. It's a really extraordinary piece.
So saddle up and consider a visit to the Briscoe Western Art Museum. Reporting from San Antonio, Texas, I'm Sharon Alseth for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
And joining us now to provide more insight on all there is to see and do here at the 2015 Cattle Industry Convention is Marvin Kokash. Marvin, this event has been more than a year in the making. What are some of the highlights you anticipate people seeing here at the 2015 convention?
Kevin, we have so many exciting things. First of all, we're going to have an amazing crowd here in San Antonio. We know we're going to be north of 7,000 cattlemen here, so it's the largest gathering of cattlemen. But really, we put on this event for the education, network, and entertainment, and we've got some great education going on in our with Cattlemen's College. We have 17 sessions in our trade show alone in our learning center. We have a huge trade show with different vendors that will provide education along the way. And then we have entertainment. We've got the one and only Jeff Foxworthy, and also Sleep at the Wheel. We have Fox Business News' Brett Baer. We also have a young man named Eric Wall who's going to paint some amazing pictures during his opening general session speech.
And just when I think the trade show can't get any bigger, you're going to set a record this year, is that right?
We are. It's amazing. We've got 360 exhibitors. Really, if you sell into the cattle business, you're here. So many companies are launching new products here, and they're bringing their best, their top experts for what they're selling, whether it's a farm equipment, animal health, cattle handling. They're all here. It's really the Super Bowl for the cattle industry is happening.
As you talk to people that come to convention each and every year, what is the value, they say, of being here live and in person at the Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show?
Well, the first thing is just the overall experience. They continue to be amazed at just the level of education that they receive here. We've got cutting edge technology in the business. The trade show is something that they just can't experience anywhere else because it really focuses in on the cattle business here. There's not a lot of the consumer things going on that you might see at a bigger stock show or things like that. This is stuff truly focused on the business. And this is so understated. It's the networking and fellowship that we have. I mean, just getting to see other cattlemen from across the country sharing their stories and sharing business opportunities. That's what's pretty exciting about this convention.
So for folks who are sitting at home that are thinking about coming to San Antonio, what would you tell them?
Come on down. We'd love to have them. We've got, our registration is open, and just go to beefusa.org and you can register, get in your truck, come on down. We'd love to have them. We've got so many different packages for them. If they just want to come and see the trade show, they can go to the trade show. If they want to get a full registration and come in and be a part of everything, the committee meetings, the Jeff Foxworthy event, all of these things, they can be a part of all that. Again, go online and then get on down here to the Henry Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio.
And if they want to, they can come right here and register as well. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah. They can register on site. One thing they can do the night before they're coming actually makes it simple. They go and register. Then when they get here, it's really about 3 clicks and they're in the trade show.
Fantastic.
So it's pretty amazing.
Thanks, Marvin. We're looking forward to a great week.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
As Marvin told us, there are some one-of-a-kind events going on right here in San Antonio, including the Cowboy Comedy Club with none other than Jeff Foxworthy, set for Friday night, February 6th, and a ticket is included with your registration. Don't forget, you can still come and join us in San Antonio. You can register on site and even do a one-day registration if you prefer. Find out all you need to know at beefusa.org. We're back out here enjoying the sunshine on San Antonio's Riverwalk, and our roving Cattleman to Cattleman reporter, Russell Nemitz, joins us once again with an update. Russell, where are you this time?
That's right, Kevin. We're down on the floor of the NCBA's trade show, where folks at home can see things are coming together on this 7-acre building. In fact, right over my shoulders, the John Deere display, and these next couple of days, there's going to be the latest and greatest in farm and ranch technology available to our nation's cattlemen and cattlewomen. But for today, we're actually at the Tartar Farm and Ranch Equipment display, and we're lucky enough to have the chance to visit with their Gina Hutchinson. And Gina, let's tell folks at home why you guys make the commitment to be at the Cattle Industry Convention and the NCBA Trade Show.
It's very important for us to be here. This is our second year coming, and this is where all the people that know everything that's going on, we're here to see them and talk to them, and get to show them our equipment, and so we get to learn a lot while we're here as well.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are you hoping to visit with these cattlemen and cattlewomen who are coming to the convention and the trade show from all across America?
We're hoping to show our chutes. We have squeeze chutes for anything from your small cattlemen all the way up to your guys ready to go into hydraulic chutes, and we have a whole line of cattle equipment at Tartar, so we're hoping to see those and show them what we've got.
We were talking before we went on air about how this farm and ranch technology has really changed for both the farmer and, in this case, the rancher.
Oh, of course. Especially with Tartar, we started out building wooden gates. 70 years ago. So, and we're all the way up to, of course, our hydraulic chute now, and everything has changed so much on how we even make the equipment. So it's really coming along, and excited to see where it's going to go from here.
And of course, the convention runs through this weekend. Certainly you're throwing out an invite for everybody who can join us in the Lone Star State.
Oh yes, if you're here, please stop by and see us and check out what we've got. It's very exciting to see, a lot of things to see and learn while you're here.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, as you can see, Kevin, there is a lot going on down here at the NCBA Convention Trade Show floor. And over these next couple of days, there's going to be a lot to see and do. With that, we'll go ahead and send it back to you, Kevin.
All right, Russell. I can tell you're excited to be in San Antonio. Thanks again for the update. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll hear from our friend Baxter Black. And we'll have more about all that's going on as we prepare for a great cattle industry convention here in sizzling hot San Antonio. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune. The feeling of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Are you going to do this every time we treat a calf with Zuprevo?
Absolutely.
Well, all right then.
Don't let BRD interfere with his performance. Treat it with Zuprevo and get him back to his home pen. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for Merck Animal Health.
This is yours, and so is what grows there. Not theirs or theirs, yours. You need this to fight this and this to grow more this. Because the more of this you feed them, the less this you spend on that, which leaves more of this here. Don't let them take this from you. Chaparral takes care of weeds and brush, and that's that.
Join your fellow cattlemen in sizzling hot San Antonio for the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the beef industry's biggest convention, and it's great for education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the NCBA Trade Show for the latest technology. It's the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in sizzling hot San Antonio, Texas, February 4 through 7. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
If you're not using IMI Global's verification programs, you might as well set your money on fire. To give your wieners added value, no program begins without a traceable animal. Then add on BQA and other specialties, and you open up a whole new market for your calves. You might be thinking, the market's so good, why bother? You ever heard of making hay when the sun shines? You got a choice. Get in the game or visit IMIGlobal.com. Now, a lot of farmers and ranchers are entrepreneurs, and I've never really been brave enough to try that. I've worked for wages all my life, watching other people's stock. And the outfits I hired on to, they didn't make you punch your clock. They'd let you work until you finished, like the feedlots in the fall. They'd roll them calves in on you, and they'd just walk the fence and bawl. We'd check the pens, pull the sick and push and treat and ride, and then process new arrivals that kept coming like the tide. I've calved a lot of heifers, though it's miserable sometimes. It's something that I'm good at. And it's like she's sort of mine. She knows I ain't the owner, but We're not into protocol. She's a cow and I'm a cowboy. And I guess that says it all. I got no truck with politicians who whine and criticize about corporate agribusiness. I guess they don't realize somebody's got to own them that can pay the entry fee. Why, who you think puts up the dough to hire old boys like me? Oh, I bought a set of heifers once, maybe 15 years ago. I held them for a calving and then I had to let them go because all I did was worry about how to pay the bills. Took the fun out of cow punching. I don't need them kind of thrills. Though I wouldn't mind owning me a little hideaway, so when some outfit laid me off, I'd have some place to stay. But I figure I'm just lucky to be satisfied at heart that I'm doing what I'm good at. And I'm playing a small part in a world that's complicated, where the bosses fight it out with accountants and consultants and their counterparts with clout. They're so busy being bosses, they got no time to spare somehow, so they have to hire someone like me to go out and punch their cow. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. We'll see you Friday night at the Cowboy Comedy Club with Jeff Foxworthy right here in San Antonio. Now, if you'd like to learn more about what's happening with NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, you can find us on Facebook. Be sure to like our page and we'll keep you updated with photos, details on upcoming shows, and much more. And it's a great way to connect with other cattlemen and women across the country. So check us out on Facebook. Time now for this week's Legacy Photos. Let's have a look. You can send us your own legacy photos by visiting our website, that's cattlementocattlemen.org. Include your ranch name, state, and hometown, and we may use them on a future episode. Now, let's check back one more time with our roving Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter, Russell Nemitz. Russell, any final thoughts on sizzling hot San Antonio?
That's right, Kevin. The Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show is coming together here in sizzling hot San Antonio. And of course, one of the highlights at the NCBA Trade Show each and every year is the sand sculpture. And guess who we have with us? One of the sculptors herself, and it's Meredith Corson. And Meredith, you were telling us this is like your 7th NCBA Trade Show. What keeps you coming back?
Well, the sponsor, first and foremost, Bayer is the sponsor for this sculpture. And it's such a wonderful show. The people are so friendly, and everybody, you know, they've become really educated about sand sculpting. They don't call it a castle anymore. They call it a sand sculpture.
So what can we expect to see over the course of these next few days?
Well, we like to go along with the theme, and we're in San Antonio, sizzling hot. So this is the hot tamale stand, and this is the back side of it. On the other side, we're actually going to be, well, the sand people will be serving hot tamales. There'll be a little bit of a twist in there. We always like to put a little sense of humor or something in there.
So how did you get interested in building sand sculptures in the first place?
Well, I live on a beach, and they hosted the world's largest sand castle. That one was a castle back in 1985. So I was doing it in Florida. Dan, I didn't even know him, was doing it in California, and we met at a competition, and we've been together for 18 years.
Well, Meredith, we're happy to have you at the NCBA trade show once again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Sizzling hot San Antonio, my friend. That is what it's going to be like these next few days. And really, you know, the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show is just a wonderful time to get together and meet some new friends and talk with some old ones. And here at the trade show, get to see the very latest and greatest in the new farm and ranch technology. With that, we'll go ahead and send it back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Russell. Don't forget, you can still join us here in San Antonio. Check out the NCBA trade show and be a part of the biggest cattle industry convention there is. The convention continues from now through February 7th. Come out and see us. You can find out more at beefusa.org. Next week on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll have more coverage from the 2015 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. We'll introduce you to the new president of NCBA, Philip Ellis from Wyoming. Plus, we'll give you insight into policy issues and explore the acres of trade show action going on here this week in San Antonio. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week with more from sizzling hot San Antonio right here on RFD TV.